And we are back, folks, for another edition of the Michigan Recruiting Insider. When we talk about the top-rated recruiting visitor list in Michigan football history, this is part of the weekend that sets the standard. This weekend, you have Jackson Cantwell on campus, one of the top offensive linemen in the country. Number 1 on some lists, number 2 on some lists. He is here this weekend. And then you move over to the other side of the ball. You're talking about one of the top 50 players in the land here with me on set in Jake Kreul when we were laying out the list of guys. And you talk about the top edge rushers in the country. Jake could very well be the number 1 or number 2 guys in the country. I think 24/7 has him ranked right now number 5 or number 6, higher than that in my book. Jake, how you doing?
Doing good. Just thank you for having me. Blessed to be here. Blessed to kind of have this opportunity and experience. I'm just excited to be here. I mean, Michigan, the winningest program in college football history, and they've produced some guys off the edge. So it's kind of a surreal experience to be here. So I just want to say thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Listen, I appreciate you taking the time to come this way, watch your film, and wow, it just feels like you got every tool in the toolkit. I want to start out just talking about your game, your influences, who you draw from. Let's start by first going over how you think things went for you on the football field last year.
Yeah, I think things went great. I kind of definitely made a name for myself. I think I could have done better. There was definitely a learning experience, kind of a learning curve, playing a national schedule coming from a school in Orlando to going to IMG, right? So kind of learning how to play in that college level defense, playing against top competition. You had that learning curve, but it wasn't an issue for me. I went through those growing pains, and once I hit the ground, my feet were running, right? So just kind of excelled, had great people around me, had great teammates that were we were bouncing ideas off of each other, a great coach. So having resources like that makes it a lot easier if you get what I'm saying. So I was blessed to have kind of a village around me to make sure I succeeded at that level, and I got to prove who I can be and who I will be.
So if people haven't seen you in person or haven't seen your film, sort of give them a scouting report. Be a scout or a coach in the stands, breaking down your game. Give them what they would see.
Yeah, I think I'm going to play harder than anyone on the field.
Yeah, I see that.
I don't stand out on paper when you say my measurables, 6'3", 240, even though I think edges are getting a little bit smaller nowadays. But I make up for it with how hard I play, how smart I play, and the technique I play with, right? I don't ever want to limit my arsenal or my gun power, right? I'm going to have every tool in the book, or I'm going to have all the knowledge in the book to make sure I'm playing at the highest level whenever I play. I'm a little bit of a nerd off the field and on the field, right? I'm going to make sure I know everything before I come to war, right? Why come unprepared, right? So when you watch me play, you're going to see me play hard, you're going to see me play smart, you're going to see me kind of tear people apart from the ground up. You know, I'll find the weaknesses and I'll expose that weakness.
Yeah, so that's what I see when I see you. So I don't like to lead by saying that, man, because we talked about you on one of our shows. I said, his number 1 to me trait is his motor. But if you say that, people think you're just a try-hard guy.
Yeah.
So I don't want to lead with that, because you're more than a try-hard guy. You're a dude with athletic talent who has an unbelievable motor. Mm-hmm. That's when I first went to see Mason Graham, the dude played every snap on defense, every snap on offense, and then he played special teams. So his motor was unbelievable, but he's a big-time athlete too. Mm-hmm. So I kind of see you the same way, like this dude who has all this athletic talent, who has this unbelievable motor to match.
Yeah.
Is what I see. I'm curious if that's a way that you would describe yourself.
No, 100%. I think in the position I play, you have to have that motor. You look at, there's studies that have been done with players like Khalil Mack. He had 17.5 sacks way late in his career, and you look at them, a vast majority of them were coverage sacks. So what is a coverage sack? That's when your DBs are doing a great job for you, and that's just your motor keeps on running for 5 to 10 seconds, and you're chasing down the quarterback. So in my position, it's a necessity, it's a need. You look at all these top guys, they have that elite motor. You look at players who played for Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson, he has an elite tool belt, elite moves, but what stands out on tape is his motor. He is never going to stop running. He's like a train on train tracks, right? A train doesn't, if you're in the way of a train, the train's going to go through you. It's going to keep on going no matter what. So just having that drive and having that chip on your shoulder is it's huge for me.
Yeah, I hear that. So now, when you talk about growing your game, though, you don't want to. You're not a finished product. You never want to be, right?
Yeah.
So now, what's the next step for Jake Kreul? What are you working on the most? You probably say everything, but what's like the thing that you're focused on the most at this point?
Yeah, I think you always kind of, how I think of this as a base to grow as an athlete is you got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. So if you're ever comfortable, you're not going to get better. You're not going to grow. So figuring out where I'm weak at. For me, it was kind of the weight room, right? I needed to get bigger. I needed to get stronger. I needed to look the part for college. And I attacked that this offseason. I've put on close to 25 pounds of I would like to think, muscle. I've got my speed down. I run a 4.6 40. And I just been attacking what my weakness was. It was size and it was strength. And to become an every down player, you have to have that. You need to be dominant in the run game. So I got in the weight room. I put my head down. I worked hard. I try to work harder than anyone else. I try to kind of let my actions speak loud. And that was kind of my mindset for this offseason. And I'm hoping it's going to show in spring football. And I hope more things get revealed to me in spring football that I need to work on, right? I never want to be a finished product. I always want to have my ceiling rising. I want to break through the ceiling. So I look forward to those uncomfortable situations, and I look forward to struggling.
I got you. Well, clearly, though, a lot of schools look at you and they see mega potential, right? Michigan being among them, but how many offers did you or have you built up to?
I'm at 50 offers right now.
50 offers, so you go anywhere in the country. The difficulty of narrowing the scope when you have 50 offers, how do you do that? How did you do that? How do you narrow the field when you have such a broad base of schools to choose from?
Yeah, it's really hard, and I'm actually going through those pains right now trying to narrow down these schools, but it gets to a point where all these schools are just great situations. Like, all these schools, they develop people, they send people to NFL, and it's like, all right, what is going to be the greatest situation, or what situation fits me the most? So that's kind of what I'm looking for, is the fit, right? You can have Coach A and Coach B. They're both exactly the same, both great coaches, but maybe personally you match with Coach B better, personally you match with Coach A better. So kind of looking for that fit in the culture and the people in the place is kind of the biggest thing for me, and that's what I think is going to make a difference when it all comes down to it. And taking these official visits and figuring out where I'm going to take official visits to is going to be big, because when you're on official visits, you get to spend a lot of times with the players. And the players aren't going to lie to you. Like, they're going to tell you, hey, day in, day out, as a role model, this is how my position coach is, and take it or leave it, because we want people in the room with us who are going to push through together, and we're all going to be one unit. So that's my take on things, and that's how I'm going to try to narrow down my list.
All right, so take me through this visit to Michigan. What have been the things that have stood out to you during your Michigan experience?
I like to give credit where credit is due, and someone who stood out to me completely was TJ Guy. Number 4, got to watch him today at practice, first day of pads, and wow, he was killing it. He looked electric, explosive. I didn't even know who he was coming into it. I just knew of Josiah Stewart and the awesome season he had last year going into the draft. This year, I see TJ Guy, and wow, he had power, he had speed, he had size, everything you wanted in an edge rusher nowadays, a modern edge rusher, he had it. And he was kind of leading that room, being a leader on and off the field. I saw it through meetings. I saw it through on the field, kind of talking to the offense, even though that's not even his domain. He stuck out. He stuck out a lot to me, and he kind of made a great impression.
What about with the coaches? I mean, you saw last year a defense that really had to be the rudder for a team, especially late in the season. You go to Ohio State and you got a lot of guys out, and that against an offense that eventually won a championship, but they couldn't beat Michigan because of a defense, right? Mm-hmm. So your thoughts on that unit, Wink Martindale, Lou Esposito, those coaches over there?
Yeah, kind of how I see it is with Coach Martindale is that he's going to play aggressive. Like, he's going to let you know that he's there with his front four and the people in the box. So I kind of like that play style, right? He's gonna beat you up front. He's gonna pound you. And then I think Coach Espo is kind of the person who I've built the most of a relationship with, kind of on the phone, texting, all that recruiting stuff. So got to know him a lot. kind of started to meet some of his guys in the room and stuff. So I definitely like the coaching staff, and I look forward to seeing how our relationship goes with the rest of this visit, because I'll be on campus again tomorrow, and I'll have dinner with them tonight. So looking forward to that.
So Jake, as you look at Michigan more broadly, you know, you told me the things that you like. What are the biggest questions you still have about Michigan?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like questions for me is kind of hard to think of off the top of my head. I'm more of a in-person, in the environment. I see things and I like to ask in person. So as you go with that, it's kind of hard to answer. Yeah, I really don't know. I just know Michigan's a great program, and they're going to do great things for their players, and they have a winning culture. I
got you. So now, as you draw away from Michigan and you look big picture, clearly I hear you talk a lot about development. I hear you talk about relationships. If you had to sort of bullet point the factors that you are going to put into your final decision, what would be the main ones that you're going to look at when it comes time to pick a school?
Yeah, people try to tell you in recruiting, don't go to places for coaches. I completely don't agree with that. I think your position coach and the people you're around within the building are going to be everything. So I think whatever coach is, whether it's position coach, defensive coordinator, head coach, if they align with me, my visions, my values, I think that's going to be a major thing for me. And just trusting the people in the building, right? My parents are handing me away for 4 years to become an adult, and I would like to hope that I can trust the people I'm going to be with and I'm going to be developing under as a young man and as a football player. And I want them to have that same trust. I want them to believe that they're sending off their son to go become a man and become a great person in the future and kind of have a positive impact on the world.
Yeah, how do you build those relationships in this day and age? I mean, is it mostly on the visits? I mean, do you still, because it seems like these days a lot of the interaction is on social media, which ironically is more impersonal to me anyway than the old days where you talk to people a lot on the phone. So are you able to build those relationships, or do you have to get to these campuses to build the kind of relationships that you're talking about?
I think going on campus is definitely revealing. There's no smoke and mirrors that way, but there's a lot of fluff with high school recruiting and all these texts and these graphics they sent you. But as a person, you know when something's genuine, and you could tell when someone's genuinely trying to build a relationship with you, whether it's texting on the phone, if it's a true text, like, hey, they're actually asking me a question, or they're calling me and actually trying to know how my day went or how I'm planning for the off season. So whether it's texting, whether it's calling, whether it's coming on campus, there's a bunch of different ways to grow relationships, and I think coming on campus is definitely a major factor because, again, no smoke and mirrors. You know, you're seeing it for what it is. They're not going to change who they are when they don't know you're watching, right? So that's kind of how I see it with building these relationships.
So do you have all your OVs set?
I have no OVs set, actually. So how I'm taking this is I'm trying to take my time, right? Me and my parents kind of both decided as collectively as a group that we're going to take our time with this. It's a lifetime decision, and whether the schools I'm taking OVs to, that's the schools I'm serious about. So I'm going to make sure I'm taking those OVs to the right places.
So Jake, you laid out to me the things that you're looking for. What are your parents sort of stressing to you, or are they one and the same?
I definitely think it's one and the same. We may butt heads sometimes, but we all have the same goals for me, and we all want greatness for me. So yeah, I think generally we're kind of in line with everything, and we all the same values I'm looking for are kind of the same values they're looking for.
Now, did you grow up a fan of any particular school?
A little bit. So my dad and my mom, so my dad went to the University of Florida and my mom went to Florida State. So kind of a split household in the state of Florida because I'm from Orlando, Florida. So as a kid, I was a Florida fan, but growing up, going through this recruiting process, I'm Team Jake, and I'm gonna go wherever I think is best for me, and a childhood team isn't gonna really affect the choice for me because I think I'm thinking more of a bigger picture than that.
All right, so man, I mean, clearly your circle, your team, your family team clearly is grinding with you really, really hard and is helping you on this journey in a huge way. And you wouldn't be here without them. So this is an opportunity to give them a huge shout out, man, because that's big time.
They're back there. They're behind the cameras right now. Shout out to my dad, Jake Kreul. Shout out to my mom. She's right there recording, Amy Kreul. And it's even more than that. Shout out to all my family members for kind of being here with me and helping me become the person I am today and the individual I am today. I like to think I try to be a good person.
Yeah, man, that's big time. That's huge. Timeline for making that decision. When do you think it's going to go down?
So for official visits, I plan to try to get that done the first week of May when spring visits are done. And honestly, I would like to get it done in August after my official visits. But again, if it's not right, it's not right, and I'm not going to hurry that decision. So I'm going to take as much time as I need, but I'm hoping to get it done in August.
Odds that Michigan gets one of those officials?
I'd like to think they have a good chance. I think all these programs really have a great chance just because of how great they are. But they're definitely making a great impression on this visit. And it's going to be going to the drawing board and kind of putting these all together, quantifying these visits so I can really measure it. But Michigan's making a great impression on me with this visit and with my last visit as well. So, yeah, they're definitely making a good case for themselves.
Jake Kreul, appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
All right, another edition of the Michigan Recruiting Insider.